Hello, fellow football connoisseurs, and welcome back to the Quick Take. We have a lot of news to get into today. Of course, we have the news regarding Renato Veiga to Chelsea, joining from FC Basel. We also have a striker update coming up for you in this video. Starting off with Renato Veiga to Chelsea. Exclusive, Chelsea agreed deal to sign Portuguese talent Renato Veiga from FC Basel. 2003-born left-footed versatile defender slash midfielder, set to leave Basel training camp to join Chelsea. Package will be worth 14 to 15 million euros. Personal terms have already been agreed. Here we go. And as far as I'm aware, his contract will run until 2032. So he is signing an 8-year deal with amortization that's spread over 5 years. So that's around 3 million euros per season for Renato Veiga to Chelsea. Honestly, not a terrible deal. This is the guy FC Basel brought in to replace Riccardo Calafiori when Calafiori joined Bologna. And obviously we were in the race for Calafiori, but I think what he was asking for per week was a little bit high, or a little bit higher than what we were wanting to offer, and we want to keep the wage bill down. So off to Arsenal Calafiori is going, and we bought the replacement FC Basel brought in, as I said, following Calafiori's exit to Bologna. Who is Renato Veiga? Well, there's not a lot known. As I said, he's still quite young into his professional career. He had a loan stint at Augsburg, being on loan from Sporting. Of course, being Portuguese himself, he came through at Sporting, and then last season he was with the Swiss team FC Basel for a good chunk of his time playing there. We do have some quotes regarding the type of player Chelsea have signed regarding Renato Veiga, coming in from two different sources on Cons and Pice's watch playback space, where they bring on people who are more in the know regarding a player, who have scouted them, watched them play, and can give an insight into the type of player they are. One being Antonio Mango, who is an under 23 scout, and the other person being Ben Mattinson, who is an analyst slash scout. So getting into who Chelsea have signed. On Veiga, one of his best strengths is his passing from deep, his switches and diagonals. Having that further from the back could be really good. He is a powerful dribbler, doesn't look tidy or smooth, but shields it very well and gets past a lot of players. More from Ben Mattinson here. I'm not sure if Veiga is ready for the jump yet. He has high potential but hasn't been consistent. I thought he'd be going on loan at the moment. Milan were looking at him in January for half the price. There's a lot of potential to work with. Low risk, high reward signing, a bit like Malo Gusto in my opinion. I think this could be our left-sided Malo Gusto in terms of how they develop. We also had this from Antonio Mango 4. Veiga is best as a left centre-back on the ball. His long passing is very good. It would give Chelsea another dimension if Maresca allows it. Chelsea fans, will love how aggressive Veiga is. I'd say his main weaknesses is awareness, because in midfield, people run off him easy, which is why I like him more in defence. Now, as we know from Enzo Maresca and his tactics and his style of play and his philosophy, he likes his fullbacks to invert into the midfield. I originally thought we may be seeing Reece James moving into this inverted fullback role, a bit like Ricardo Pereira last season for Leicester. But there could be a chance it could be the left back. We saw Marc Cucurella inverting successfully towards the end of last season, and of course he was on very good form at the end of last season and has been in fantastic form for Spain this Euros, now into the semi-finals against France. And there's a good chance they'll get into the final. And of course, we could see Renato Veiga almost become his understudy, his Malo Gusto to his Reece James. And I really do like Marc Cucurella. And speaking of the left-back position, there was an update regarding the future of either Ben Chilwell and Marc Cucurella. One of Chilwell or Cucurella could leave the club if they receive a good proposal. Now, out of the two, I would much rather keep Marc Cucurella. One big reason being, I think he's a little bit more available. I think he provides a little bit more to the side tactically. And also because of the wages. Now, Ben Chilwell is actually Chelsea's fourth highest earner. Actually, he's joined third with Wesley Fofana at £200,000 per week. That's £10.4 million a season. That is around about the same amount as Victor Osimhen is currently on at Napoli. Chelsea have a big issue with their wages. They want to try and reduce it. We are missing out on signing players like Riccardo Calafiori, who, could be turned out to be one of the best defenders in the Premier League. I'm not saying he will, but I'm just saying we're missing out on those kind of signings because they're asking for a little bit more than we are willing to pay per season. And maybe that's because we've given out long deals on high wages to players who maybe don't deserve it. Players like Raheem Sterling. Again, how many times have we seen Raheem Sterling put in mediocre performances? Yes, there's a flash of brilliance every now and then, but is he worth £325,000 a week? Is he bringing that level of input to this side where it validates basically being on double what a lot of the better players in this side are on? I mean, Moises Caicedo, he's on 150,000 a week. Thiago Silva, before he left, he was on 110. You got players like Cole Palmer, who's on 75,000 a week. Noni Madueke is on 50. There's some really good players here. Malo Gusto's on 45,000 a week. Are you trying to tell me that Raheem Sterling is more important to this side than Malo Gusto? I don't think so. So I think Chelsea's big focus for the next coming weeks should be removing players like Ben Chilwell, removing players like Raheem Sterling, because you remove those two players, that's £525,000 a week off the wage bill already done for two players who are basically providing nothing to the side. And one of them, we've already replaced, we're looking to replace both of them basically, because we just brought in a player who can play at left back, and we're looking at, a right-footed winger who, let's be honest, it's probably going to be on the left-hand side, because on the right-hand side, we're going to be stacked with Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, Kendrick Paez, Esteval. So on the left-hand side, you're really going to want to invest in a really good winger, like a Nico Williams. But his wages are high. That's the big problem. We got a big block in our way, and that's Raheem Sterling, who's on 325k a week. So although we want to try and reduce the amount we're paying per season on wages, I think a better way to look at that, instead of bringing in players who can actually have an input on this side, a positive one, and get us, into the Champions League and make us more money, I think we should look to really remove the players who aren't pulling their weight and who aren't justifying the amount they're on in Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell. Let me know your thoughts on that. Now, I also brought up the fact that we have an update regarding the striker situation. We were looking at a number of strikers a while ago. Samu Omorodian was one of them, who was on loan from Atletico Madrid, who Chelsea apparently still have an interest in, even though I thought that was over. And also Jonathan David. Jonathan David is available for around £20 million. Mail Sport has been told nothing has progressed since initial Chelsea interest. That was reported 2 days ago by Kieran Gill, DM, who's pretty reliable. Now, again, Fabrizio Romano, I just brought up Samu Omorodian, and this was reported by Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea aren't done in the window. Don't forget appreciation for Samu Omorodian. They also want a right-footed winger. So imagine someone who can cut in on their right-hand side, colour top bins, lovely stuff. And of course, speaking of strikers, there's the obvious option. I know you guys don't like me bringing his name up because you either don't think he's good enough or you think he'd be too expensive. But Victor Osimhen is a name that has been linked with Chelsea for a while now, and his name just keeps creeping back into the Chelsea news cycle, even after reports saying, Chelsea were not going to pursue this deal because it was too expensive. We had this coming in from Transfer News Live reporting Team Talk. Chelsea are willing to offer Romelu Lukaku and Cesare Catade to Napoli to help lower the price of Victor Osimhen. I mean, Romelu Lukaku alone at Chelsea is on around £230,000 a week. Of course, he is out on loan at the moment at Roma. He is returning to Chelsea, and we're looking to offload him to another club. But if he were to continue here, he would be making €230,000 per week. Victor Osimhen at Napoli is currently on around €246,000 per week. So obviously that's not cheap. He is a star player, and he did recently sign a new contract, December 23rd, 2023, in order to try and keep him at the club. They gave him a very good bump in terms of how much he was earning per season. However, previously to this bump up in his payment, he was on around €105,000 per week. So if Osimhen is going to leave and he actually wants to come to Chelsea and he wants to play in the Premier League, then he is going to have to accept a slightly lower offer in terms of his weekly wages than what Napoli gave him when he signed a new contract. Right now, I think the most we should be offering players per week is €250,000, and that is the top of the top. That is what Reece James is on, and I don't think any player should be on anything over what Reece James is making per week. So anything below 250,000 a week, I think would be good. If we can get him on 200,000 to 220,000, I think that could be doable. We also saw reports that Napoli were willing to lower their asking price for Victor Osimhen from 150 million euros to 100 million euros. I'm just thinking if you add Casadei and Lukaku to a deal like this, maybe it could come down to 55, 60 million. And at that point, 6 million euros plus getting rid of Lukaku and Casadei, their wages, and having them on 220, 240,000 euros a week, I think that's an okay deal. I would, however, stay clear of Samu Omorodion. I think it's a bit too expensive for the gamble that it is. I would rather get a more established player like a Victor Osimhen. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. I've been The Quick Take, and I'll catch you all on the next one. See you later.